Okay, so welcome to this lesson where we're going to learn how to answer a question like this, which is basically, which is usually the blending of lines question in your paper. Usually asks you to create several layers, might be 3, might be 4. So you're given several layers to create and specific layer properties for each one of those layers, like color, line type, and line weight, that you're supposed to use to create a drawing, a simple drawing such as this one. So let's switch to AutoCAD or start AutoCAD. Then once AutoCAD is started, in the question you are asked to set the layer properties manager as shown in the table below. So from the layer properties manager table here, we have 3 layers: outline layer, center line layer, and dimension line layer. So we need to create 3 layers as well. So on our ribbon, this top ribbon that is here, there's a layers panel here. On this layers panel, that first symbol shows us layer properties. So this is our layer properties manager. Click on it. This opens up this window for you. This window, if you use your mouse and come here on this first symbol, it shows you that is a new layer symbol. So click on it. You need 3 layers, so you can click on it thrice. Then now we can start renaming our layers. To rename your layer properly, or to rename your layer, just click on any layer. If you double click on it, it will open up for editing. If not, you can just simply click on it, then press the F2 key on your keyboard. It will do the same thing. So we need outline layer, and press enter. And we also need center line layer. So click on the second one, center line layer, and also need dimension line layer. Dimension. Yeah. So these properties, if you click on this, and sometimes you might not even click on it, if you move on to something else, you might see them as rearranged. So you don't have to worry about that one, because they're usually arranged alphabetically. So once you rename your layers or create your 3 layers, now we need to change their properties. So don't change this one, leave them as on, leave them unfrozen, and leave them unlocked. The only things that we need to change are our layer color, our line type, and our line weight. So our outline was black, so switch it to black. Our dimension line was given as magenta, so simply click on where it's written white. It will open up this pop-up box for you. Then choose this color. It will write the color name for you here as magenta. Then click OK. Then our center line was given as yellow, so choose that one. Choose yellow and click OK. Then we can move on to our line type. Our line types are continuous, center, and continuous. So the only one that is different there is the center line. It's supposed to be a center line. So let's navigate to our center line layer. Then under its line type, we need to change this to center. So click on it. It will open up this dialog box for you. For your case, if you're starting it out for the first time, this one does not show center. So you need to go to load here. Then scroll down with your mouse. You're going to see this center option. So choose it. Choose this center line. Click OK. Mine is already loaded, so that's why it's showing me this. So I cancel. Then before you close this second box, choose the center and click OK. So it will change this to center. Then for our line weights, center line is default, dimension line which is supposed to be thinner is 0.2, yes. So we need to change our dimension line to 0.2 and our outline to 0.6. So let's repeat the process. So navigate to your outline. It was supposed to be 0.6. So outline layer under the line weight column. Click on the given value. Then change it to 0.6 as given in the question. So choose 0.6. Click OK. Then our dimension line is supposed to be 2. So navigate to your dimension line layer under line weight. Click on it and change it to 0.2 and click OK. Now you've set your properties as needed in your question. Now you can begin to draw your drawing. So close this and remember to save your work. It's always best practice to save your work early so that as you progress, in case anything happens, your work will be auto saved. So remember to save your work. So just navigate to save. Then it will open up this box for you. Navigate to where you need to save your file. Close it and save. Click on save. Okay, so now you need to set your units before you start drawing. So type in the units command and press enter. Opens up this dialog box for you. You need to ensure that you're in millimeters because we use millimeters as our country or as our system we use millimeters. Make sure this is international. Then you can change your precision to 0 because if you look at the diagram that we have, all our values are whole numbers. We don't have any decimal places, so you can switch to a precision of 0 which does not have any decimal places. Then simply click on OK. Then we can now start drawing our diagram. So if we study this diagram, we can see that there are several shapes that we can see here. There are circles and there's an image of a rectangle here which has filleted corners. So some of you might choose to start with these circles, others might choose to start with these central circles, others might choose to start with a rectangle that is out here. So there's no particular place where you should start, or you're limited in that. You're not limited in that way. You can simply start anywhere as long as you arrive at the same answer. So for my particular case, I might show you starting with the rectangle. So our rectangle is 100 by 90. So go to AutoCAD, choose rectangle command, and you can start anywhere. So set the first corner as indicated on the command line. So choose the first corner. Okay, so you can see that we are not on the correct layer. So press escape here on the ribbon under the layers panel. You can see this last box. It shows you the layer that is currently active. So if you click on this drop down arrow, it shows you several things. It shows you the layers that we created and whether the layer is on, whether the layer is frozen, whether the layer is locked. So you can use this to quickly switch between layers when like this. When you're drawing the outline, you're supposed to be on the outline layer. When you're drawing the dimension line, you're supposed to be on the dimension line layer. When you're drawing the center line, you should be on the center line layer. But if you draw something on a layer that it's not supposed to be in, you can simply select the object, then navigate to here and switch to switch the object from a layer to another. Like if you have a line drawn like that, but I think I'll have to switch the color of this particular layer so that you can be able to see it on the end of your screen. But you're not supposed to do this. For your case, you have been given the layer. So I'll switch mine to white so that you can be able to see it. So I was saying, if you have drawn something on a layer that's not supposed to be like this, if this was supposed to be on dimension like there, you can simply select them navigate here and switch them. They will pick up properties of whichever layer you switch them to, because you have switched them to that particular layer. Okay, so we still need to be outline layer. I just select my objects, delete them, then go back to rectangle command, choose it, specify the first corner as in the command line. So I choose my first corner. Then before I choose my second corner, or I click to set my second corner, I have the dimensions of my rectangle. So I will choose dimensions, click on this. Then my dimensions are 100 by 90. So I'll choose 100 or type in 100, press enter, then type in 90, press enter. And I can now set my second corner. So I'm just zooming in and zooming out to be able to see where I'm setting my second corner. So as you can see, it's still free, only the first corner has been set. So to set the second corner, once you have given the dimensions, you just click, now it's set. So once I create my rectangle, now I can move on to locating these circles which are at the center. So I can see that from this edge or from this line, if I move a distance of 50, and from this line, this lower line, if I move a distance of 45, I'll be able to find the centers of these two circles that are at the center. So I can use offset command to offset this line a distance of 50 to the center. I can also use offset command to offset this bottom line a distance of 45 going to the top. So choose offset command, but remember, to be able to offset a shape or an object like this, it has to be exploded, because if you try and offset this, it will offset the entire rectangle, because the entire rectangle is considered a single object, similar to when you draw something with a polyline command. So first you just escape that command and choose explode, choose the rectangle as the object that you want to explode, press enter, and now you can simply choose a single line like that or another line like that. So choose offset command, then we want to offset our first line by a distance of 50. So specify offset distance will be 50, so click there, type in 50 like that, press enter, then offset this line by a distance of 50, as you can see there. You can just click. Then our second line we need to offset by 45, so just click on offset again and type in 45, press enter, then offset this one going up a distance of 45, click to set it. Then now we can start drawing our circles. We need to draw our circles. Skip. We need to draw our circles at this intersection point. So that is now where these drawing aids come in. If you navigate with your mouse to this one, it's written objects now. This is another drawing aid. If you right click on it, it will show you several different options. Now these are the options where objects are snapped to, or where objects are attached on other objects while you're drawing. So if you need to use the endpoint of a line, this one needs to be on. If you need to find the midpoint of a line, this one needs to be on. If you need the center of something, like a circle, or a circle in particular, this one needs to be on. Quadrant points of a circle, intersection points. So this one is the one that we currently need to be on here, intersection, because we can see the intersection point of these two lines is where we're supposed to draw the center of our circles. So because mine is currently on, if it's on, it is a light blue. If it is off, it is just gray. So mine is currently on. I can just click on this empty space, and you also need to have this object snap on, so don't turn it off. There's no situation where you'll need to turn it off, so just leave it on. So let's draw circles. So choose circle, center diameter. Then you can zoom into the centers of those two lines, or the intersection point of those two lines. Place your mouse there. Then it will show you the wrong, or it shows you object snap point for midpoint, but that is not what we currently need, although it serves the same purpose, because the midpoint of these two lines in particular will be the intersection point as well. But to switch between those intersection point, not intersection point, to switch between those object snap points, you can simply press the tab key. It will cycle through the possible object snaps that can apply there. So if I press tab, you see it changes to midpoint for the midpoint of the vertical line. If I press tab again, it still shows me midpoint, but that's the midpoint of the horizontal line. If I press tab again, now it shows me intersection. So that is the one I need. I'll just click there. Then my circle was diameter 40 and diameter 18. So I can start with the diameter 40 circle, then choose circle again, center diameter, and place my mouse there, press tab to switch between, so I can still use that one. Then diameter 10, switch 10, not diameter 18. So diameter 18, press enter. Then I can delete those two lines that I used as reference lines, like that. Then now I need to draw these other circles. So these ones are the corners, radius, not radius, but diameter 16 and diameter 10. Now you can start by locating either this one or this one, because I'm given dimension 15 here and dimension 15 here as well. So I can simply offset this line going this way by a distance of 15. Also offset this one going upwards by a distance of 15, or downwards. So back to our drawing, choose offset command, then specify your offset distance as 15. So choose 15, press enter, then offset this line inwards by a distance of 15, like that. You can also offset this top line by a distance of 15 going downwards, like that. Now you have the intersection point, which forms the center of your circles, this one. So you need a diameter 16 circle and a diameter 10 circle. So choose circle, center diameter, place your mouse there until it shows you intersection, click on it, then diameter 10, press enter, then repeat the same command from that point, diameter 16. Then you can simply delete these two lines that you used as the reference lines, or in this particular case, I might want to offset other lines so that I can simply copy my circles here, here, and here at our four corners. So I will navigate back to offset command. My offset distance is still 15, so I can simply press enter or type in 15 again. Then offset this one upwards by 15, offset this one inwards by 15. Then I can go to copy command, click on it, and I need to copy this circle and also need to copy this circle. I press enter. Then my base point or my reference point is the centers of those two circles. So choose that one and copy it here to the intersection point of those two lines, or end here, intersection point, and this last intersection point, like that. can press escape and simply delete these reference lines like that by selecting them and then pressing delete. Then you're left with your object. All that is needed to be done is the filleting, because we usually leave operations like filleting and chamfering to the very last operations. We do them last in terms of engineering drawing. Okay, so that is one option of how to draw them. You can still use array command, because these ones are forming a rectangular array from here to here to here to here. So now I can fillet my corners. My corners are radius 14, or the fillet is given as radius 14. So navigate to fillet command. You see there's fillet and chamfer, but I need fillet. Choose fillet. Now because I need to do the filleting on more than one corner, I will choose, or I will navigate to my mouse to multiple. So click on multiple first, then it shows you that it's chosen multiple here. Then I have the particular radius of the fillet, so choose radius and then give the radius. Our radius is given as radius 14, so type in 14, press enter, then simply start choosing your corners. Fillet this corner, so select that line and that line. It shows you a preview, so this is correct. So fillet that one, also fillet this corner, also need to fillet this corner at the top, and also need to fillet this corner at the bottom, like that. So once you're done with the filleting, you can simply press escape and remember to save your work as you continue. So you can save it by either navigating here, pressing save, or you can press Ctrl S on your keyboard. And then now we need to draw the center lines. We are done with drawing the object. We need to draw the center lines, then we will dimension our work after. So to draw dimension line, or not dimension lines, but to draw center lines, you need to switch to center line layer. So switch to your center line layer by pressing this drop down arrow. Choose center line. Remember to choose or to click on this side where the name is. Don't click on these shortcuts which are here. So click on center line layer. Then now we need to draw our center lines. To draw your center lines, it's simply using line command. So choose line command. Now here we need to use another drawing aid, which we refer to as object snap tracking. To use object snap tracking, you have to make sure that it is on. So if you navigate with your mouse down here to the drawing aids, it shows you this particular one that's drawn an acute angle and written object snap tracking F11. So F11 is the keyboard shortcut, so make sure that that is on. Then we can start with this central circle. So you see that when you place your mouse over any one of their circumferences, they show you where the centers of the circles are. So because I have quadrant turned on here under object snap, I have my quadrant option turned on. It will show me the quadrant of this circle or any other circle that I choose. So what object snap tracking, this one, what it does is that it tracks your movements. So you can track or use any one of these object snap points as a reference. So if I place my mouse there for a few seconds, just 1 second, it shows me the relevant object snap. But if I drag my mouse outside without clicking it, this green dotted line forms, which is simply a reference line or a tracking line in this case. So if I click there, because center line is supposed to start outside the circumference, not on the circumference but outside, I can use this as a good reference line. So it was tracking from this quadrant point like this. So notice that I have not clicked my mouse, just simply placed it on the quadrant, then dragged it outside. Then I can click there and draw my horizontal line. So I can just draw it up to there, then press escape. So it draws the center line for you. You can see that this is in or has been drawn while in the center line layer. So I will show you later how to show it as a center line, because currently it's just that the line zoom factor is not at a point where we can see the long dash and the short dash. Might be that this is just one of the dashes. Yeah. So once you draw this, now you need to draw the vertical line. So you can simply rotate this or draw another one. So, or you can copy then rotate, sorry. But it might be easier to just draw another one. So choose line again. Place your mouse or your cursor on this quadrant point. Go straight up. So you might find this easier to do if you have auto mode turned on. So at this point, you can even use more than one point as a reference while you're using object snap tracking. So I can place my mouse on the center like that. Then I can place it on the quadrant. Then I can place it on the other quadrant. So you'll see that 3 points here are highlighted. Can be even more. So just place it there. At the quadrant, go straight up. Then start outside the circumference. Click there. Go straight down, maybe to that point. You can click that, set my line, and press escape. So that's how you draw your center lines. So I can draw a center line on this other circle or on any one of these other circles, then simply copy them. Or I can still copy this one and scale it down because it's currently too big. So if I choose copy command, then I box selects those two to copy them or to select them. I select them, press enter, then specify base point. So I want to move them or to copy them with this as my base point, the intersection point of those two. So select them. So I can turn auto mode off here to be able to help me drag them at a particular, not a particular angle, but freely drag them without having to be limited to going horizontal or vertical. So turn auto mode off, you'll see that it is off now. Drag them to the center of this circle. Any one of them, that is. You can even use this one instead, or this one, or this one. Doesn't really matter. But let me start with this one. So make sure that it's set at the center, like that. And once it's set at the center, I can press escape because I only needed to copy one. Then I can resize this to a smaller size. Then I can just copy that onto this, and this, or array it, or use array command, that is. So I need to scale it down. So choose scale and choose your objects. These are the objects that you need to scale down. So both of them, and press enter. Then specify the base point. You want to scale them according to this, or this as your base point. So once you choose that, scale factor, you need to scale them down. So I can use my mouse to specify the scale factor, or I can use maybe a scale factor of a half, which is 0.5. So type in 0.5, press enter. Yeah, this looks good enough. So I can now copy these ones to my other three corners. So choose copy command, choose those two as your objects, press enter. Then you need to copy them from center to center. So choose that one, copy highlight circumference. Once you highlight the circumference, it will show you the center. So there, center of that circle, there, center of that circle, there, center of that circle. Yeah, so that is how now you draw center lines. So once you are through with the center lines, all that is left is dimensioning your diagram. So to dimension your diagram, you need to go on this top ribbon. So we've covered drawing, we've covered modifying, we've used layers. So now we move on to annotation. So there's an annotation panel here. There's also an annotate menu up here. So under home tab, this annotation is simply like a shortcut. So annotating is simply dimensioning in simple words. So here we have different types of dimensions that we can apply on our drawings. So if I click on this drop down arrow, you will see that there's linear dimensions, which are either vertical or horizontal dimensions. There's aligned dimensions, which are used to draw dimensions aligned to a particular line. So when you don't want to draw vertical or horizontal dimension. Then there's angular, which is simply used to dimension an angle. There's arc length. This one you will not use for this particular case, or for your particular exams. You do not usually, or you're not usually required to dimension arc length. But radius you will use to dimension radiuses, and already. Then diameter you will use to dimension diameters. You will not use ordinate, but you might be required, or you will use jog dimensions. I will explain what jog dimensions are later, but simply put, you remember that under the rules of dimensioning, you're supposed to show where the centers of either circles or arcs are when you use, or when you're dimensioning a radius. So if you're not pointing to or from the center of that particular curve or arc or circle, you can use jog dimensions. So you're supposed to show the dimension as jogged to indicate that that origin point of that line is not the center of that curve. So we'll see an example of that one later. But for this particular case, most of our dimensions are linear, or all our dimensions are either just linear, horizontal, vertical. Those are both linear, and radius and diameters. So that is all we need. We need linear, we need radius, and we need diameter. So let's choose linear first. Then it will ask you to specify the first extension line origin or objects. So what do you want dimension, or where do you want to dimension from? So I need to dimension from this point to this other point. Then my dimension is there. So your dimensions might appear smaller, so I will teach you later on how to scale them properly, because you might not be able to see the value that is written there. You might have to zoom in completely like this to be able to see it, but for my particular case, they are zoomed appropriately. So like we said before, if you draw something in a layer that it's not supposed to be in because you forgot to switch up here, you can simply select the object, click on that drop down arrow, then switch it to the appropriate layer. So like this. So switch it to its appropriate layer, press escape, and make sure you now switch up here to the appropriate layer to continue drawing. So switch to the appropriate layer like that, then continue dimensioning. So I can now dimension from here. Oh, okay, I already dimensioned that. So linear dimension again. I need to dimension now from that point to that point, like that. And then after you apply a dimension, just like any other object, you can edit after. So you can click on that, then use those lines at the center to just click and drag like that. So I can space my dimensions out further. Which other dimension are we given? 50 and 15. So linear again. So from this point to this point, or maybe even just the end point here, linear dimension is 15. Then choose linear again, either by coming with your mouse here or just simply pressing enter to repeat the very last command that was used. So I need to dimension from here to that. So that is 15. Then I need to dimension on this other side. So there's 15 and there's 45 as well. So choose linear. So I need to dimension from here to here, which is 45. Then choose linear again. Need to dimension from the same reference to there, which is 15. So set it. Then now I need to dimension my radius and diameter of these circles. So choose linear dimension, not linear but radius first. Let's start with the radius to dimension the fillet. So choose radius, then it will enable you to select this object, which is the arc of the circle, like that. And you can set it outside there. Then I need now to dimension my diameters. So choose circle, diameter. Not circle, but choose diameter under the annotation panel. Choose diameter. And we started this big circle. So its diameter was 40. Then you can repeat the same command. Choose the second diameter, which was for the smaller circle. Give radius 18, like that. Not radius, but diameter 18, like that. Then down here, there's diameter 16, and there's 4 holes, diameter 10. So choose diameter again. So the bigger one, diameter 16, like that. And the smaller one, choose diameter again. Choose the smaller circle, like this. Put it down there. Then we need to indicate that it is 4 holes, diameter 10. So to be able to do that, we just simply need to edit this dimension. So like we said while we were using or creating layers, that if you need to rename something, you usually just double click on it. So if you double click on this one, it will enable you to edit it. So just double click, it will have selected everything. So if you press the arrow key or click inside, it will stop selecting everything. Then you can simply type 4 holes, or you can give it some spacing and capital letters. So 4 holes, then space, diameter 10. Or I press enter to put it on a different line, and I click outside to set it. Yeah, so that is simply how you draw that question. Then I can save my work like that. Yes, so that's simply how you do that question. So we'll do how to print this later, but we usually just come here to our layout tab now after our drawing, or we do all our drawing in the model space. Then once you're through with that, you simply switch to your layout space. It will show you a view of what is currently drawn in the model space. So this is just what we call layout space or paper space, because it just looks like a paper. So it's a paper representation of how your work will look when printed. There's this dotted line, which is a printer margin, and there's this what we refer to as a viewport. which is showing you how far of view into what is in the model space. So you can click on its ends to drag it to fit it to the printer margin or the paper margin, like that, and then I can press escape to leave it. I can double click inside the viewport to be able to zoom in and out of what is in the model space. I can be able to pan. I can use these shortcuts which are here to zoom to extends or zoom to all, like that. Yeah, so then I can double click outside to stop selecting what is inside, like this, so that when I zoom in, zoom out, I can be able to zoom into the paper space and zoom out of the paper space. Yeah, so then when you're ready to print your work, you can simply come to print here, choose it, then it will show you this dialog box. You first need to set your printer. So for classwork, we will be printing our work to PDF because we don't have a physical printer during class. So we'll come here to printer or plotter. A plotter is simply a printer in this particular case. So click on the drop down arrow, scroll down to this option or any option that has PDF. So click on DWG to PDF, then your paper size will be A4. What to plot now, this we will cover later, whether we want to plot what is currently displayed, whether we want to plot to the extent of everything that is drawn, or whether we want to plot what is in the layout space, or we want to draw a particular window around what we want to be plotted. So before you print your work, make sure to preview it to see if it will be printed correctly. If it is being printed correctly, then you can simply press on this plot button to print your work. And remember, you will also need to have a title block on your work. So we will also cover how to draw a title block here, the paper space. Yeah. So thank you.